Admiral Vestrax of the Galactic Federation stood motionless on the bridge of his flagship, his four eyes fixed on the holographic display before him. The human colony of New Gibraltar hung in space like a jewel, its orbital stations gleaming in the light of its twin suns. For centuries, the Federation had dismissed humans as mere merchants and diplomats, their apparent lack of military might a subject of mockery in high councils. Still no response from the human authorities. Vestrax's secondary breathing bladder pulsed with irritation as he addressed his communications officer, First Speaker Nilix. "None, Admiral. They maintain their position that the Drachnid pirates we're pursuing have not entered their space." Nilix's tentacles writhed in frustration. "They refuse to allow our fleet to conduct searches within their territory." The situation had seemed simple enough at first. A notorious band of Drachnid raiders had attacked 3 Federation worlds, stealing valuable quantum processors and leaving destruction in their wake. The pursuit had led them straight to human space, specifically to New Gibraltar. But now the humans were being difficult. "They're hiding something," Lieutenant Commander Zaxra hissed from her tactical station. The Saurian officer's scales shifted color with agitation. "Our long-range scanners detected the Drachnid ships entering their system. The humans are lying." Vestrax clicked his mandibles in thought. The Federation had tolerated humanity's independence largely because they seemed harmless, focused on trade, exploration, and diplomatic relations. Their ships were primarily civilian vessels, their weapons defensive in nature. Or so everyone had believed. "Send them our final warning," Vestrax ordered. "They have 1 standard hour to comply with our search request, or we will enter their space by force. The Federation's patience has limits." The response came almost immediately this time. A single text transmission. "Any unauthorized entry into Terran space will be considered an act of war." The bridge crew exchanged glances. This wasn't the tepid diplomatic response they'd expected. There was something cold and assured about it that made Vestrax's carapace tingle. "They're bluffing," Zaxor declared. "Our fleet outnumbers their visible forces 10 to 1. Their orbital stations are civilian platforms. They can't possibly." The tactical display erupted with new signatures. Where moments before there had been civilian stations and trade vessels, now there were weapon systems coming online. The civilian platforms were transforming, panels sliding away to reveal missile batteries and energy weapons. Hidden hangars opened, disgorging squadrons of sleek fighters that had been concealed behind sophisticated holographic technology. "Impossible," Nilix whispered. "Those readings, those aren't civilian-grade weapons. They're military-grade. Advanced military-grade." Before Vestrax could respond, a new transmission came through, audio and visual this time. The human who appeared on screen wore a crisp black uniform with silver trim. Admiral Victoria Reeves of the Terran Defense Force didn't look like someone bluffing. "Admiral Vestrax," she said, her voice carrying an edge of steel beneath its professional courtesy. "I trust you can now see that your scans of our defensive capabilities were incomplete. The Drachnid pirates you seek are indeed in our custody. They surrendered to us 6 hours ago, when they realized they had accidentally strayed into human space." Vestrax's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. "You've been concealing military capabilities. The Federation treaties required us to report our offensive military assets," Reeves interrupted smoothly. "These are purely defensive installations, Admiral. We simply chose not to advertise their full capabilities. Now we would be happy to transfer the Drachnid prisoners to your custody, along with all stolen Federation property. But it will be done according to proper diplomatic protocols, not at the end of a gun. The message was clear. The humans hadn't been weak. They had been patient. They hadn't been hiding from war. They had been preparing for it. "Stand down your weapons," Reeves continued, "and we can handle this situation as civilized species. Or press your advantage and discover exactly why humanity has never needed to participate in a galactic war to maintain its independence." Vestrax felt the weight of centuries of misconception crushing down on him. The Federation had spent generations dismissing humanity as soft, considering their diplomatic overtures as signs of weakness. But now he understood they hadn't seen humans' true nature because humans hadn't wanted them to. "Stand down," he ordered his fleet. "All ships, stand down." As the Federation ships powered down their weapons, Vestrax couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a diplomatic incident. This was the day the galaxy learned that peace wasn't humanity's only option. It had been their choice. The news would spread quickly through the Federation. Humans weren't afraid of war. They were simply better at avoiding it. And now that their mask had slipped, the galaxy would never see them the same way again. The Galactic Federation's High Council chamber had never been so silent. Admiral Vestrax's report played on the central hologram, showing footage from New Gibraltar that made even the most stoic councillors shift uncomfortably in their seats. High Chancellor Ixol, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns that betrayed her agitation, spoke first. "These defense platforms. Our analysts say they're at least 3 generations ahead of our most advanced systems." The footage showed what appeared to be ordinary space stations transforming into fortresses. Seamless metamaterials shifted like liquid metal, revealing weapon systems that shouldn't have been possible at humanity's supposed technological level. But it was the demonstration that followed that truly terrified them. "This was their response to a single probe drone we launched," Vestrax explained, his voice hollow. "Watch carefully." The recording showed a small Federation probe approaching the colony's outer defense perimeter. What happened next defied conventional military doctrine. Instead of using traditional energy weapons or missiles, the humans deployed what appeared to be a swarm of microscopic machines. Within seconds, the probe was enveloped in a silver cloud. "Nanite defense systems," Admiral Krell of the Federation Military Science Division muttered. "We theorized their existence, but the energy requirements made them impractical. Somehow, they've solved that problem." The probe didn't explode or melt. Instead, it simply disappeared, deconstructed at the molecular level by the nanite swarm. More disturbing was what happened next. The swarm reconstructed itself into a perfect replica of the probe, transmitted all its data back to the human defense grid, then dissolved into base materials. "They let us see this deliberately," Vestrax continued. "The human Admiral Reeves, she wanted us to understand what we were dealing with. This wasn't just a show of force. It was a warning." The council chamber erupted in overlapping conversations. Some demanded immediate military action, others called for diplomatic initiatives. A few simply sat in stunned silence. "There's more," Vestrax said, his secondary breathing bladder wheezing slightly. "We've been analyzing their civilian ships as well. Those merchant vessels they've been sending throughout Federation space, they're not just cargo haulers." New footage appeared, showing the internal scans of a typical human trading vessel. Beneath the mundane cargo holds and crew quarters lay sophisticated systems that had been hidden from conventional scans. Every human ship that had ever docked at a Federation port was potentially a military vessel in disguise. Their entire merchant fleet, Krell observed, could be converted to combat operations within hours. We've had wolves in sheep's clothing visiting our worlds for centuries, and we never knew. High Chancellor Ixal raised all 4 of her arms, calling for order. The question before us is clear. How do we respond to this revelation? Humanity has not broken any treaties. Technically, their deception was legal, if not ethical. A new figure stepped forward, Ambassador Thex of the Diplomatic Corps, known for his measured approach to interstellar relations. Perhaps we're asking the wrong question, he suggested. Instead of wondering how to respond to their deception, we should ask why they maintained it for so long. The chamber grew quiet again as Thex continued. Think about it. They could have dominated the Federation centuries ago. Their technology, their hidden military, they could have conquered us before we knew what was happening. Instead, they chose trade. They chose diplomacy. They chose peace. Until now, someone muttered. No, Thex corrected. Even now, they haven't chosen war. They've simply shown us why they never needed to. The real question is, what changed? Why reveal their true capabilities now? Admiral Vestrax's upper eyes narrowed. The Drachnid pirates. They weren't running to human space by accident. They were running from something else, something that humanity knows about, something that made humans decide it was time to show their teeth. The implications sent a chill through the chamber. If humanity, with all its hidden power, felt the need to reveal itself now, what threat could be so great that it warranted breaking centuries of careful deception? As if in answer to their unspoken question, the chamber's emergency communications system activated. Reports were flooding in from the outer rim of Federation space. Multiple colonies had gone dark simultaneously. Long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures approaching Federation territory. Signatures unlike anything ever recorded. High Chancellor Ixal's crystalline form pulsed with alarm as she read the incoming data. "Get me a direct line to Admiral Reeves," she ordered. "I believe we're about to find out why humanity chose this moment to reveal their true nature." The galaxy was changing. The peace that had been maintained by humanity's hidden strength was about to be tested by something that made even humanity's facade of weakness impossible to maintain. The question was no longer whether humans were afraid of war. It was whether their hidden arsenal would be enough to face what was coming. The emergency summit on Neutral Station 7 was unprecedented in galactic history. Representatives from every major power sat around a massive holographic table, watching as Admiral Victoria Reeves explained humanity's greatest secret and their greatest fear. "We call them the Void Harbingers," Reeves said, projecting a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. Dark patches appeared across it, showing regions where stars had simply vanished. They don't invade spaces. They erase them. Director Nera of the Centaurian Alliance, her bioluminescent patterns flashing with concern, leaned forward. "These stellar extinctions, we thought they were natural phenomena. You're saying they're weapons." "The Harbingers consume stellar energy," Reeves explained. "Each star they devour makes them stronger. We've been tracking them for 3 centuries, since they first appeared at the edges of what you call the dark sector." High Chancellor Ixal's crystalline form vibrated with shock. 3 centuries. You've known about this threat for 300 years and said nothing. "We did more than just watch," Reeves responded, touching a control panel. The hologram shifted, revealing a network of hidden human installations throughout the galaxy. Every trade route we established, every diplomatic mission we undertook, every colony we founded, they were all part of a greater strategy. The map highlighted thousands of seemingly innocent human operations across known space. Trading posts transformed into military strongpoints. Mining operations became ammunition factories. Research stations revealed themselves as fortress laboratories. Project Bulwark, Reeves continued. A 3-century preparation for the war we knew was coming. Those drachnid pirates didn't stumble into our space by accident. We leaked information to them, knowing they'd run straight to the Federation. We needed you to see our true capabilities before the Harbingers arrived. Admiral Krell's scales shifted color rapidly as he processed the implications. Your merchant fleet, they're not just convertible warships, are they? They're part of something bigger. Reeves nodded, pride evident in her expression. Each vessel is a node in what we call the Aegis network. When activated, they create an interlocking grid of quantum fields. A shield matrix capable of covering entire sectors of space. The hologram demonstrated the concept, showing human ships linking together to form vast defensive networks. But it wasn't just ships. Space stations, colonies, even the seemingly primitive settlements on barely habitable worlds all played their part in the greater design. Your entire civilization, Ambassador Thex whispered, is actually a weapon system in disguise. A defense system, Reeves corrected. We didn't build an empire of war. We built a shield for the galaxy. But we need the Federation's help to complete it. The Harbingers will reach populated space in less than 6 months. We don't have time to maintain our deception any longer. The alien representatives exchanged glances. Centuries of assumptions about humanity were crumbling. What they had dismissed as peaceful expansion had been careful strategic positioning. What they had mocked as diplomatic weakness had been patient preparation. Why? High Chancellor Ixel asked. Why go to such lengths? Why not simply tell us? Reeves' expression softened slightly. Would you have believed us? More importantly, would you have worked with us? Fear drives species apart. We needed cooperation, not competition. Trade routes that doubled as defense lines. Research partnerships that developed dual-use technologies. We needed the galaxy united, even if it didn't know it was uniting. A new alert flashed across the holographic display. Another star had gone dark, closer this time. The Void Harbingers were accelerating their advance. The time for secrets is over, Reeves declared. We've positioned our pieces across the galaxy. We've developed technologies centuries ahead of what you thought possible. But it won't be enough, not without your help. She gestured, and the hologram showed the full scope of humanity's plan. The Aegis network wasn't just a defense system. It was a galactic transformation project. If successful, it would turn the entire galaxy into a fortress, with every planet, every station, every ship playing its part. We chose peace for centuries because we were preparing for this war, Reeves concluded. Now we need to know, will you stand with us? The chamber fell silent as the representatives contemplated the choice before them. Humanity had orchestrated the longest strategic deception in galactic history, but they had done it to protect everyone, not just themselves. High Chancellor Ixel rose, her crystalline form glowing with determination. The Federation stands with Earth, she declared. Others quickly followed, pledging their support. As the alliance formed, Admiral Reeves allowed herself a small smile. Phase 1 of Project Bulwark was complete. The galaxy was uniting. Now came the hard part, teaching them to fight an enemy that devoured stars. The strategic dance was ending. The real war was about to begin. The combined fleet of humanity and the Galactic Federation hung in the darkness near the Arcturus sector waiting. 5,000 ships, the largest armada ever assembled, maintained perfect formation around what appeared to be empty space. At its heart, the human flagship Hyperion hummed with barely contained power. Fleet Admiral Reeves stood at the command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing every aspect of the coming battle. Beside her, High Chancellor Ixal and Admiral Vestrax watched in fascination as human crews worked with their alien counterparts, implementing centuries of hidden military doctrine. "They're coming," announced Captain Jin Park from his sensor station. 3 Harbinger vessels, exactly as predicted. They'll reach the bait star in 5 minutes. The bait was an aging red giant, carefully selected from astronomical data. For 3 months, they had been broadcasting specific energy signatures from it, making it irresistible to the Void Harbinger's hunger. "All ships, execute Protocol Omega," Reeves commanded. "Activate the Aegis network." Across the fleet, thousands of ships that had once masqueraded as merchant vessels revealed their true nature. Quantum fields sprang to life, connecting ship to ship in a vast web of energy. The seemingly empty space around them blazed with hidden installations, defense platforms emerging from dimensional pockets where they had waited for centuries. By the first light, Vestrax breathed, his mandibles clicking rapidly. "Those platforms, they've been here all along. Humanity has been building this battlefield for 200 years, Reeves explained. Every trade route through this sector helped us position another piece. Every survey mission mapped another tactical advantage." The Void Harbingers appeared on the long-range sensors. Massive structures of dark energy and unknown matter, each larger than a small moon. They moved with an unsettling grace, their surfaces rippling with patterns that hurt the eye to observe. "All Federation ships, maintain position," Reeves ordered. "Remember your training. Do not, under any circumstances, break formation when they begin their attack." The Harbingers approached the red giant, their massive forms extending tendrils of dark energy toward the star. They hadn't noticed the trap. Or perhaps they didn't care. Their confidence had been earned through countless victories against lesser prey. "Now," Reeves commanded. The Aegis network activated in full. Every ship, every platform, every hidden installation fired simultaneously. But they weren't firing weapons, they were firing light itself. Concentrated beams of energy struck the red giant at precisely calculated points, triggering a carefully engineered stellar reaction. The star exploded, not in a natural supernova, but in a controlled cascade of energy that humanity had spent decades learning to master. The Harbingers, caught in mid-feast, were suddenly engulfed in more power than they could possibly absorb. "Phase 2, Reeves ordered calmly. The Federation fleet watched in awe as human ships executed maneuvers that should have been impossible. The Aegis network didn't just connect their ships, it allowed them to move as one. Thousands of vessels flowed like schools of fish, creating geometric patterns of such complexity that they seemed to bend space itself. "The quantum lance," Ixal whispered. So the rumors were true. The entire human fleet had transformed into a single weapon. Energy flowed through the Aegis network, amplified by the dying star's power, focused through formations that humanity had spent centuries perfecting. When it struck the Harbingers, it didn't just damage them, it unraveled them. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. When it was over, 3 Void Harbingers, entities that had devoured hundreds of stars, were reduced to scattered particles, their dark energy dissipated harmlessly into space. But there was no celebration on the Hyperion's bridge. Everyone knew this was just the beginning. "Status report," Reeves commanded. The Aegis network performed at 98% efficiency, Captain Park reported. "All ships report minimal power drain. The stellar engineering worked exactly as calculated." But he paused, his expression grim. We've detected 13 more Harbinger signatures approaching from the galactic core. Reeves nodded, unsurprised. They know we can hurt them now. They'll come in force. Can we replicate this victory? Vestrax asked, his earlier skepticism replaced with cautious hope. Can we defeat them all this way? No, Reeves answered honestly. They'll adapt. Each battle will have to be fought differently. That's why we spent centuries preparing multiple strategies, multiple technologies. She turned to face the gathered alien leaders. That's why we need your people's creativity, your different perspectives. Humanity's plans and technology alone won't win this war. The aliens looked at each other, then back at the battlefield where 3 invincible enemies had just been destroyed. Centuries of dismissing humanity as weak merchants seemed very foolish now. You have it, Ixel declared. All of it. Whatever you need. Reeves allowed herself a small smile. Good, because the real fight is just beginning. The fleet regrouped, preparing for the larger battle to come. Humanity had revealed its strength, played its first hand. But they had many more cards yet to show. 1 year after Operation Thunderstrike, the Galactic Council chamber on Earth marked a profound shift in interstellar relations. Where once humans had been seen as passive observers, now they stood at the center of galactic civilization. The chamber itself was a testament to their hidden ingenuity. Its seemingly decorative architecture concealed enough firepower to repel a small fleet. Admiral Victoria Reeves stood before the assembled representatives of 27 species, delivering her final report on the Harbinger War. The last known Void Harbinger was destroyed yesterday in the Danube sector, she announced, her voice carrying the weight of countless battles. The combined forces of humanity and our allies have confirmed the threat is eliminated. The chamber erupted in celebration, a cacophony of different species expressing joy in their own ways. But Reeves raised her hand for silence, her expression serious. But this victory came with revelations that we must all face, she continued. The galaxy has changed. Old assumptions have died. New truths have emerged. The holographic display showed statistics from the year-long war. 42 major battles, 17 innovative tactics that had never been seen before, and countless smaller engagements. Each victory had required humanity to reveal another layer of their carefully hidden capabilities. High Chancellor Ixel, who had fought alongside humans throughout the war, stepped forward. The question before us is clear. How do we proceed in a galaxy where everything we thought we knew about humanity has been proven wrong? The answer came from an unexpected source. Ambassador Vex, his scaled form bearing new scars from battles he'd chosen to fight alongside human forces, took the central platform. We proceed with understanding, he declared. Throughout this war, I've studied our human allies closely. Their deception wasn't born of malice, it was born of foresight. While we rushed to show our strength, they prepared in silence. While we competed, they cooperated from the shadows. The display shifted to show the full scope of human preparation. Vast networks of hidden facilities, technologies that had been carefully developed and concealed, strategies that had been refined over centuries. But more importantly, it showed something else, the results of human and alien cooperation during the war. Look at what we achieved together, Vex continued. Human quantum technology combined with Centaurian crystal matrices. Federation battle tactics enhanced by human strategic theories. Every victory came not from human superiority alone, but from the synthesis of our different strengths. Admiral Reeves nodded in agreement. We did our true nature not because we feared you, but because we knew that true strength comes from unity, not dominance. The Aegis network wasn't just a weapon. It was a metaphor for what the galaxy could become. The display showed the new reality. The Aegis network had evolved beyond its military origins. What began as a defensive grid had become the foundation for a new form of galactic cooperation. Trade routes were faster, communication was instantaneous, and the boundaries between species were beginning to blur. "We propose a new covenant," Reeves announced. "No more hidden strengths. No more secret preparations. Humanity will share everything we know, everything we've built. In return, we ask for true partnership." High Chancellor Ixal's crystalline form pulsed with approval. The Federation agrees. The old order died with the first Harbinger. It's time to build something new. One by one, the representatives stepped forward, pledging their species to this new alliance. But it was Ambassador Thex who asked the question on everyone's mind. "And what of humanity's other secrets? Surely you haven't revealed everything." Admiral Reeves smiled, not the careful diplomatic smile she'd worn for centuries, but a genuine expression of hope. "No, we haven't. But that's not because we're hiding them. It's because we want to discover new secrets together. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology or our strategies." She gestured to the chamber, to the diverse species working together in ways that would have been unimaginable a year ago. "Our greatest strength was our ability to see potential, in ourselves, in you, in what we could become together." The holographic display showed one final image, the galaxy not as it was, but as it could be. A civilization united not by fear or power, but by shared purpose and mutual respect. "The Void Harbingers forced us to reveal our strength," Reeves concluded. "But what we do with that revelation, that's the real test. We spent centuries preparing for war. Now, let's spend centuries building something greater." As the new Galactic Charter was signed, the old jokes about peaceful human merchants faded into history. But they were replaced not with fear of human military might, but with understanding of a deeper truth. Humanity's greatest deception hadn't been hiding their strength, it had been hiding their vision of what the galaxy could become. The war was over. The hard work of building a truly united galaxy was just beginning. And this time, humanity wouldn't have to hide their hope for what that galaxy could be.